concept that comes out of Zen Buddhism in Japan, and it's a concept called a Shoshin mindset. A Shoshin mindset is basically what they refer to as a beginner's mind. This idea that you approach things even when you're an expert with a whole bunch of experience, you approach it as if it was your first time. And so a Shoshin mindset, if you were to boil it right down, is about avoiding asking questions like, how can I make sure I'm not wrong? And we often start with that question. How can I make sure if I'm going to make a decision or embark on a strategy, how do we make sure I'm not wrong? We look at all the evidence and the data to make sure we're not wrong. The problem is that tends to trigger confirmation. How do I look for evidence that I'm on the right track? See, a better question, a Shoshin mindset question is this. What makes me so sure I'm right? That's a very different question. Because while the first question is all about confirmation, the second one is about clarity. And I reckon the best example of a Shoshin mindset in practice that I've seen over the years came from this guy here, a guy called Bracken Darrell. Now, you may not have heard of Bracken Darrell before. Brilliant business leader. For a number of years, he was at the helm of Logitech. In fact, he saw a real renaissance of Logitech as a brand. Incredibly successful time for them as a business. But while they were riding high and winning awards and financially kicking goals, Bracken Darrell did something that no one expected, a very surprising move. And I'll let him tell you about it.
Before I went to bed, I thought, I don't know if I'm the right person to run this company for the next 5 years. So we've had a great run. So I decided to fire myself. So I fired myself that night and I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and thought, okay, decided to rehire myself on one condition. Nothing that I've done, no person, no strategy, no project is sacred. And so I immediately started making some changes and I feel like a newcomer again. I felt like that ever since.
Now, the advice isn't to go away from the conference and go, okay, I'm going to fire myself. That's what they said to do at the conference. That's the plan, okay? But it's an interesting thought experiment, isn't it? Imagine if you went back tonight, end of the day's work today, and you went, I'm going to fire myself, thought experiment, go in tomorrow, rehire yourself. What would I notice if I was a newcomer? What are the assumptions that I've just taken for granted for a long time that maybe they were true 3 years ago or 5 years ago, but they're not now? That's where humility starts.